What's good? My name is Tish Collins, and I pray that life is being kind to y'all. If this your first time coming across my channel, welcome. If you're coming by, I appreciate you so much. After this video, we're going to be talking about the dangers of the ponytails that y'all be wearing with y'all locks and why they be pop locking, dropping, and pulling and snatching out your edges and thinning out your locks and how I mitigate this problem. Alright? Let's go ahead and get right into it. So let's go ahead and tackle the tightness and the pulling. So we already know that our roots are extremely vulnerable when we go to put our locks into a ponytail. So when we put the ponytail up there, it just causes even more pulling, even more friction, which causes the edges to thin and causes your roots to thin out, all right? So our locks are already densely piped. So when we go to put them into a ponytail, it's just causing even more friction and even more tension. This then leads to the discomfort that y'all feel, the irritation of your scalp, and the headaches that y'all feel, all right? Now, when we talk ponytails, if you are doing a ponytail with your locks every single day and you are putting it in the same position every single day, your locks are in a fixed position. And because your locks are already densely piped, when you go to put your ponytail in the same spot every single day, we are now worried about the edges thinning and the roots, but we're also worried about the thinning of the locks where the ponytail is sitting every single day. So that's definitely another danger zone when we talk about ponytails. If you are using rubber bands or scrunchies like this on your locks, I ain't gonna say you're wrong. I'ma just say you're bold. You're real bold if you're using something like this to hold your locks into place when you put them into a ponytail. But we definitely want to be cautious of the ponytail because we do not want our locks to weaken, and that then causes them to break off or whatever the case is. All right, so I do not use these. I'm definitely gonna go into detail and tell y'all which scrunchies I use and why I use them and all of that. When we are pulling our locks back into these really tight ponytails, we are causing the follicles to become extremely weak. Now, this could lead to traction alopecia. The result of that, thinning along your edges and your hairline and bald spots. Alright, that is not what we're trying to go for when we're talking locks. In addition to that, we have to take into account the locks that we have that are weak. So if we already have weak spots within some of our locks, then we definitely do not want to be wearing ponytails 24/7. That's just going to further weaken the locks. Alright, so let's talk about how I mitigate this problem for me personally. Alright, y'all already know that I don't try to push nothing that I'm doing onto y'all. I just bring it to y'all what I'm doing that's helping me with whatever problem that I might have, all right? So first, I know y'all see this lock style on top of my head, so let's talk about that briefly, all right? Y'all need to know and understand that I only get lock styles on an occasion, all right? I get a lock style maybe 2 to 3 times a year at best. Furthermore, my loctician has really mastered not pulling my locks too tight into the style, so it's not causing any discomfort, any irritation to my scalp, any headaches, all right? Moving right along. I do not use rubber bands or these small hair ties or scrunchies to put my locks into a ponytail. I use headbands because they are so much bigger and they are so much stretchy, alright? So I either use this one, I get this one from Target, Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, whatever place they got like bobby pins and hair products and stuff like that. I'm sure you can find this at, alright? So I either use this one or I use this one right here. This one is the satin material, but it also has the elastic band so that I can tighten it or loosen it to my preference once I put my locks into the ponytail, right? Now, I got this one from Target. However, I got this one from Target over a year ago, right? And I went in there recently to try to see if they still had it. I could not find it. However, you may be able to find it, or maybe you could find something similar on Amazon or something like that. Another thing that y'all need to be cognizant of is if you have 2 shorter locks at the front, or just shorter locks at the front, period. But I have 2 of the shortest locks right at the front of my head, and all of the rest of my locks are extremely long. So when I go to put my locks into a ponytail, if I am not cautious with these 2 up here, I am pulling on it from the end, all right? And what's going to happen is it could potentially cause my button to slip off, or it could cause that lock to thin out because it's pulling from the end, all right? Let's shift gears to the bathroom so I can show y'all and tell y'all exactly what I'm talking about and exactly what I mean when I say this. So y'all can visibly see that my locks is pulling really bad along my edges. It's definitely pulling really bad over here. Now at the bike, it's not pulling as bad back here because these locks are not long enough to actually go up into the ponytail fully. So with these locks, I just kind of tuck them in to a lock that's in the ponytail so that they'll stay. When I tell y'all that my head is hurting so bad and I sucked it up solely so that I could record this portion of the video. So I just took my ponytail out and ooh, please, y'all can do what y'all want to do. Y'all know I ain't trying to persuade nobody to do that I'm doing. But, however, I would not suggest them ponytails. Boy, that joint was hurting so bad. Now I'm finna show y'all the difference in my ponytails that I be wearing and the difference in the ponytail that I just took up out of my head, alright? So hold on real fast, let me gather myself.
You can bank on it. You can put 100 grand on it. Anything I said, I'll stamp on it.
Two of my shortest locks is at the front. I am betting that these two locks will be my shortest locks. If you have short locks in the front, they're shorter than the rest of your locks in the front. All right, let me go ahead and do my ponytail real quick so that it'll make sense what I'm finna say. So y'all can see that whenever I go to push the headband bite so that it is placed wherever I want it, those longer locks at the front are not being harmed at their ends. All right. So when I place it, I usually place mine somewhere like there, so that's where it sits. Now, if I were to put these two locks right there and move my headband bike, I am now pulling on the ends of these locks. And what is going to happen is it is going to start to thin out the end of your locks. So because I was doing my headbands and this lock stopped roughly right here, this lock stopped right here while my headband is going back further. The headband is pulling, causing friction to the end of that lock. So now when I put my ponytail, I make sure that those two locks are completely out of the way. And then I go ahead and make the ponytail at the back of my head. And then I go through and I just tuck these in gently so that I'm not pulling on them, but I just tuck them in so that they in there, but they still not being pulled on. So keep that in mind if you choose to do this method for a ponytail. Now, already we can visibly see that nothing is pulling along my edges like it was with the other ponytail y'all just seen. And then when it comes to the ponytail itself, it's so loose that all you gotta do is that number right there, and then your locks is out of the ponytail. The goal here is no friction, no pulling, no tightness, alright? So that's why I choose this ponytail over the other ponytails that be pulling tight, all of that. All right, now I meet y'all back on the other side. Now let's talk about a few tips that can help you protect your locks from this damage. All right, so first up is to avoid tight styles. All right, now I'm not saying that a good ponytail ain't good to go every now and again. I personally just would not wear a tight ponytail 24/7. So I would opt in for the option that I showed you in the bathroom because it's low tension. It's not really pulling at your edges and your locks are kind of just there. You know what I'm saying? Next up is I would use gentle hair ties. I would not use rubber bands. I would not use really small scrunchies. I would not use anything that's not going to really give me any leeway when it comes to putting my locks into a ponytail. I would opt in for the headbands, the really stretchy headbands, or the satin headband that I showed y'all. I would just opt in for an option that's not going to cause any tension, any pulling to the roots, to the edges. It's going to give you some leeway when it comes to your locks. Next up, let your locks breathe if you want to. All right, y'all know I ain't trying to force y'all to do nothing, but I let my locks breathe for the most part. I'm just not one of those people who need my locks to be in a style 24/7. I actually prefer them to just be down and chilling because I'm not trying to deal with the long-term effects that could come from constantly manipulating and styling and all of that. So I just let her be free and do her. And all her free is, all her freshly weak to his face. But I let her chill for the most part. Lastly, I'm going to touch on scalp care. Now, going to get a massage for your scalp can be a really good thing. But moisturizing your locks, moisturizing, oiling, showing love to, and taking care of your scalp makes a huge difference in this because a healthy scalp leads to healthy locks. Now, I have got to moisturize my locks. I have got to show love to my scalp because I know that a healthy scalp is going to allow me to continuously grow my locks beautifully and have them flourish, all right? So if you're one of them people who think that you don't need to moisturize to get to the healthier locks overall, then hey, ain't no judgment on my end. Y'all do what y'all do, but we moisturize our locks over this way, all right? All right. We have talked about the dangers of wearing your locks into a ponytail. I have showed y'all and told y'all how I mitigate this problem for me personally. I gave y'all a few tips at the end so that you can go about helping yourself with putting these locks in these ponytails. I need y'all to know that I struggle so bad trying to record this video for y'all. I have no idea why, but that is the end of this video. I appreciate you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. You can connect with me on all social media platforms that I am Tish Collins. I pray that today in life is being kind to you. And if it isn't, then I pray that tomorrow and every day after will be. Y'all keep going. I love y'all deeply. And I'll chop it up with y'all later.